Hey everyone, welcome to Outdoor Exposure. I'm Jay. Jen is behind the camera. So on this episode, which we know has taken longer than usual to get to you, sorry, sometimes life gets in the way. But on this episode, we're going to talk about fire. Fire is an essential. It is right up there with food, shelter, and water. Something that's going to keep you alive, as well as the psychological factor of having a fire. If you're stuck out in the middle of the woods in the middle of the night, there's nothing more comforting than knowing that you have a fire. You can at least sit around, keep the critters away, and whatnot, and wherefore. Raise the camera up, thank you.
I'm fine.
So, what do we have in front of us? Well, we've got a couple of things. First, we have a Bic lighter. That is a given. I always carry one on me whenever I'm sitting under airplanes. So first we have a Bic lighter. I always carry one with me. Probably easiest way to start your fire. Not going to go into the how-tos on using this, because if you don't know how to use a Bic lighter, please Google it and then come back. So yeah, Bic lighter. Second easiest way is stormproof matches. Have some stormproof matches here. Again, not going to go into the how-to of using matches. What I will say about these though is you do want to keep them in the little case to protect them from moisture. It pops out and stuff like that. Has the striker built right on top, this particular one. But yes, not going to go into the particulars on how to use a match, because if you don't know how to use a match, really you're jumping way ahead. You may want to Google it. Another thing we're going to use is, this is a trick some people tend to use, is steel wool, thin steel wool with no soap on it. Don't think you're going to buy a thing of Brillo loaded up with soap and it's going to work. Thin steel wool and a 9-volt battery, and we'll put that to the test too, see how that works. The next thing here is a pressure striker. It's basically a flint and steel type striker, but it's within a self-contained unit. It's primarily designed for if you only have, say, one good arm. You could use this and push that down and it'll generate sparks using pressure. So we'll put this to the test as well. Then we have our good old ferro rod and striker. We'll test these. One thing to note about the ferro rods and strikers, usually when you get them, they come with this black coating. I don't know if you could see that on there. They come with a black coating on the ferro rod itself. That's from manufacturing. It's like when you buy clothing and sometimes you throw them in the wash first before you wear it the first time to get whatever residual chemicals from the manufacturing process. That's what this black coating is. So you have to take that black coating off first in order for it to spark up when you strike it. If the black coating's still on, it's going to be a pain in the butt. You're going to wind up scraping it off before you can get any good sparks out of it. So standard ferro rod, and then we have the magnesium block, you know, with the striker and the ferro rod built into it, and we'll be putting all these to the test. As well as we have some fire starting stuff. We have a little tab of wet fire, not wet dry, wet fire, because wet dry would just be, you know, counterproductive. So we have wet fire, a little tab of wet fire that we'll be testing and seeing how well that does, as well as mine and Jen's preferred go-to combustible, dryer lint. It's free. It's in abundance. You can carry a whole Tupperware full of this stuff at no weight whatsoever. So this is what we tend to use. Besides which, you're going to have to clean your dryer trap anyway, so you might as well get something out of it. So we're going to test all this stuff, and then we'll let you know the results. So stick around. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put together the little trick with the 9-volt battery and the steel wool. As you see, I've got the steel wool underneath some of my kindling, and we're going to see how well this does. So let's give it a shot. Let's see what we get. And there you go. Fire started. Okay, now we're going to use the pressure striker one, the one-handed one. Pressure striker one. Got to push in on here, push down. You're going to need some type of surface to provide the pressure against it, and we've also got a couple of some dryer lint in there to catch the spark. So we'll see how well that does. All right. Give this a go. Voila! Fire! We have fire! We're making fire! 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 Ah! I think I just put out my fire. No, I didn't. There we go. Yay, fire. Here we go, fire. So this is pretty easy to start. As you can see, you've got it going pretty quick. Love the dryer lint. The dryer lint is like my go-to thing. Like I said, you get so much bang for the buck out of it. So yeah, so we'll move on to the next one, but clearly these do work pretty good. You just got to remember to have a flat surface, and you're going to have to angle it so that you get your sparks going where you want them to go. You can't just think that you're just going to slam it down into the dirt. You know, usually some type of little rock or something like that could act as a little stabilizing point, and then you just, as you saw, do what you do. So yes, so these and some dryer lint will do you wonders. All right, let's move on to the next one. Right, so here we have standard ferro rod and striker. As always, got some dryer lint in the kindling to get it started. So let's see what we get. Fire. We have fire. We've achieved fire. Yay, fire. Alright, so that was the standard ferro rod and striker with a little bit of dryer lint to get everything started going. As you see, it works. It'll help you out in a pinch. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. Right, so this is the magnesium block with the striker. What you generally have to do is you have to strike off some of this magnesium and use the shavings to actually catch and then burn and start your kindling. So what I've done was I've shaved some off using my Leatherman, as you can see right there, and we'll see how well this takes. And just a note, these things generally come with a little chain on it and stuff like that. You can, for the sake of ease of use, remove the frickin' chain. You don't have to. I've seen people leave the chain on and they're like, oh, it's not enough. No, you can take the chain off. It's fine. Alright, let's see how well this puppy does. Alright, attempt number 2 with the magnesium block and fire starter flint and steel. So let's see how well this puppy works. Yay! Boo! Oh, nope, we still have flame. We still have flame.
Dry leaves.
Yep, get the dry leaves in there.
There you go.
Yay! Alright, so I mean it works. It's a lot of work though. It's a lot of work, especially scraping off this stuff. And maybe it's because it's just a cheap build. I don't know, but it does work. So just remember you gotta scrape off the magnesium first and get it into a little pile that you can put and quickly cover with your tinder in order to start a fire. But it does work. Honestly, I'd say it's probably my least favorite because it requires the most energy to get the fire, but it does in fact work. So there you go. Move on to the next one. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to start fire using wet fire. Wet fire is good. Wet fire is basically, I don't know the exact chemicals that are used, but it's basically a chemical block that has been soaked in essentially lighter fluid, and that's what's going to provide you with your combustible material to start your fire. So we're going to use this one. First I'm going to try seeing if I can do it with the flint and steel, see if that's going to work. Then if not, I'm just going to come over and light this puppy with the lighter and show you what it's supposed to do. But let's try it both ways. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Here. Okay.
Need more meaty stuff.
Okay.
Alright, let me know when you're ready.
It's been filming there.
Oh, okay. Alright, so let's take the wet fire out. This is what it looks like. A little chemical block there. And we're going to put this puppy right in here and see if we can't get it started using just a spark. Alright, let's see what we get. She doesn't seem to want to go. Alright. Clearly, it takes a lot of energy to start one of those with one of these. So let's move on to plan B, shall we? Good old-fashioned Bic. Now by now you should have Googled and YouTubed how to use a Bic. So let's get this puppy going, shall we? And look at that. Yay.
There we go.
And we have fire. We've got fire.
And this is also supposed to light when it's raining.
Yes, this is also supposed to be good in the rain, wind, so on and so forth. As you can see, it burns really quick. Easy to take a flame. Not so good with the spark. But so yeah, so we've got fire. So we've showed you all the different ways of, well, not all the different ways, but we showed you some of the most basic ways of starting a fire. Good old-fashioned Bic. Downside of this is that you never know when it's going to run out of fuel. There's no indication of how much fuel is in here. You never know if you break it. The rollers tend to pop off sometimes, and the flint will pop out. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work every time, but I always keep one of these on hand. Matches, stormproof matches, always keep these in the pack as well. These should work 9 times out of 10 unless things are really soaked, you know. And you can tell stormproof matches being different from regular matches. 1, they're wood. 2, they have a large amount of ignitable chemicals on the end, so it keeps it burning a little bit longer than your average match. All right, we tried the steel wool and 9-volt battery, which does work, you know. I mean, it does work sometimes, depending on the battery. You just got to make sure that your battery's still got some juice in it. You know, this battery's just about dead, so it's not going to do much for me, but, you know, it does work. It is something that's doable. Sorry, I've got bugs crawling on me. Come on. Come on, ignite. Ignite my dryer lint. Ignite my dryer lint. So it can be kind of tricky, but it does in fact work. It will give you something. Like I said, it's not ideal, but it does work, as you can see. Just got to make sure that that battery's got some juice in it. I think this one's just about dead, so it's kind of not doing much for me here. But we tried. We also tried the pressure starter. This one worked really good. Only requires one hand. Remember, you need some type of solid surface so that you can push it into to get that spark. That's the only thing. And with your tinder and stuff like that, you just want to be careful because you don't want to jam it in and then send your stuff flying. It kind of defeats the purpose. But it does in fact work, and it's lightweight and it's portable, and you can carry it in your pack and it's good to go. So this does work. This works. Again, it's a matter of, you got to get the technique down. You know, some people prefer the method where they hold the striker and pull back, you know, like that. Some people prefer to, you know, sort of do that. It's entirely up to you. You'll find a million videos telling you which way is the better way. Use your personal preference, but it does in fact work. And finally, we have the magnesium flint and steel. I like the flint and steel striker that this came with, I'll be honest with you. I mean, as you can see, I'm getting good sparks every time. Not crazy about having to shave the magnesium. It can be a pain in the butt, and if in a windy situation or a rainy situation, I don't know how well that's going to work out for you, trying to keep this pile of shavings together so that you can ignite them. It does work. I'm not knocking it. It does work. And, you know, I'm sure there are some people say, well, that's not the Army issue one. You know, that's why it's crap. It's some, you know, made in China type thing. Maybe so. They could be right. I'm not debating that. It seems like a lot of work. And ultimately, the goal is to get your fire going with as little effort as possible. but it does work. So there you go. That's what Jen and I tend to carry, is a combination of all of these. So this way we have a backup of our backup of our backup. You know, in the prepping world, they say 1 is none and 2 is 1. And that's basically, you don't want to have just one of something, because if something happens to it, you're SOL. So that's why, you know, I will have this, you know, Jen will have this, I will have this, Jen will have this, you know, I will have this, Jen will have these, you know. Yeah, see, it does work. And
And it's still burning.
and it's still burning. Look. Looky, looky, looky.
Use a bigger piece, baby. Look at that. And there you go.
And there you go. And that's how well it works. So there you go. So it does in fact work. Who knew?
Use your knife and put it in the front.
So it does in fact work. But like I said, you know, Jen will carry these, I will carry these, and both of us generally have some quantity of the dryer lint on us. This is Jen's. Jen usually carries this. I usually carry a smaller one in a little prescription pill bottle and stuff like that. I've just got it packed with it. So they do work. All of these methods do work. All of these methods will save your butt in a pinch. Some of them just require more work than others. I tend to be the type that's all about getting the most bang for my buck with as little effort as possible, especially when you're out in the field, so to speak. So yeah, so that covers fire. That was this episode on fire. So we hope you enjoyed. We hope it gave you some suggestions and ideas, and maybe you have a better method and you feel like sharing. Feel free to do so. You could either find us at our Facebook page, Outdoor Exposure. You could find us at the Fans of Outdoor Exposure Facebook page. That's the one that we are most interactive with. Like usually if you make a comment or a post there, we'll respond within minutes. You can also find us, you can also comment here on YouTube, comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. We love seeing those subscribers numbers go up. Don't forget to give us a like. And like I said, if you have any thoughts, ideas, tips, suggestions, recommendations, just let us know. We're all about showing people that you don't need to be rich, you don't need to live in some exotic location to enjoy the outdoors. This is all about your everyday folks who just feel this need to be outside and enjoying nature. And that's what the show is all about. So if you have places you want us to check out, let us know. Other than that, this episode, the one you've just got done sitting through, is the mid-season finale. Now, I know that means squat on YouTube, but it sounds kind of professional to have a mid-season finale. So this is the mid-season finale, episode 5. Next season, or I should say the second half of this season, things are going to blow up hugely. We've got a bunch of really cool things planned. We are planning overnight hiking and camping, you know, so hiking to a spot and then camping there overnight and then finishing the hike the next day, which is different from day hiking. There's a lot more involved in it. So we're going to take you guys along with that in the second half of this season. We've also got some scuba diving. Shows coming up where we're going to show you if scuba diving is something you wanted to do, you don't need to live on an island, you don't need to live by the ocean, you don't need to live by a beach. There are still ways you can get out, get your scuba diving certification. We'll cover the basics of how you should get started and what you should look for, and you know, get yourself started with that as well. And then I think towards the end we are going to have our holiday special coming up in probably late November, early December. We'll have the holiday special, and that's going to be fun because not only will we probably be drunk, it's the holidays. Not only will we probably be drunk, but we're going to be sharing all the bloopers and outtakes and turn the camera, thank you. And like
Okay.
that, the bloopers, the outtakes, the stuff that wasn't quite good enough or was so over the top, we said no. We'll be sharing that with you guys as well, because we're not perfect. We're kind of making it up as we go. So we wanted to share that. But that'll be the holiday special. Also, coming in the very first episode of the second half of this season, so in episode 6, we will be introducing our newest cast member. And our newest cast member, you may have got a glimpse of him if you watched our Hollywood-style spoof trailer. It's Barabee. Barabee the aardvark, the adventurous aardvark. I know it sounds crazy, it sounds stupid, but every good show has a mascot and that other team member that's just there to represent the average everyday person, and that's our Barabee. And Barabee will be coming diving with us, he will be coming camping with us, he will be coming hiking with us, he will be put through all sorts of shenanigans for your viewing pleasure. So, on behalf of myself and on behalf of Jen, we just want to say thank you for checking out the videos, and like I said, we hope you subscribe and you like and all that good stuff, and we hope to hear from you, and yeah, look forward to the second half of season 1, including and all sorts of other good stuff, and overnight hikes and stuff, and drunkenness, and blooper reels.
All kinds of.
It's folks, it can only go up from here. So thank you very much for checking us out. Big shout out to Sheila from Black and Outdoorsy. Check out her channel, folks, it rocks. Also shout out to my friends Roy and the guys from Norwegian Wilderness Adventures. I think they're out adventuring right now, putting together like a little mini series of videos and stuff like that, so go over and check them out as well. And thanks to all the people from Hiking the World on Facebook who welcomed us with open arms. So we hope you guys enjoyed, and like I said, we hope to hear from you, and stick around because the second half of this season is going to be awesome.
Also, you forgot to mention.
There's an also.
You forgot to mention, as soon as we leave here today, we're on vacation. So we might have a little.
We can show you a vacation video.
Little episode in there after this episode 5,
yes, we'll
just to show you our.
We'll show you some of our
vacation adventures.
Shenanigans is the word I would use. Shenanigans.
So we'll see how that turns out. We'll share it with you.
All right, folks. Thanks for checking us out. On behalf of myself and Jen, we'll see you on the next episode of Outdoor Exposure. Peace.
Bye, guys.